Are you ready for another easy Christmas card? This is it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I would love a thumbs up, and I would love to hear your comments after you've watched the video. This Happy Holidays card is very easy to create. I am using some designer series paper, some gold foil, and then I embossed. To me, a Christmas card is always perfect if you emboss or have glitter of some sort. So with this one, we are having some embossing done. And I'm using the Merry Christmas to All stamp set. Actually, I'm using the bundle. This is in the 2018 holiday catalog. It's in the All is Bright suite. And here are the framelits, which is kind of a small picture. The designer series paper that I'm using is on the next page, and it's the All is Bright designer series paper. So speaking of the paper, let me show you. I just think seeing it in the catalog is just so hard, but when you see it, you know, like this is the one that we're using. This is a favorite of mine. Look how pretty that is. I mean, it just really brings it to life when you can see it maybe on a screen and be able to see how all the papers are dual-sided. So you have lots of choices when you're creating your cards. You could create this card using all those designer series papers and all your cards would look different, but it's the same process. Here's the stamp set up a little bit closer. This is my favorite stamp in the whole set. However, there's so many different ways that you can say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and wishing you many, many things with this stamp set. And I just love that little swirl, my favorite. I gotta make a card with that. I keep saying that that's my favorite, and yet I haven't made a card with it. I will be doing that. I have a sheet of, this is my layer for the inside. We're gonna be inking it up. Of course, we want our buddy, the little embossing buddy, to help prevent any static electricity from allowing our embossing powder to stick where we don't want it. I'm inking this stamp up upside down because it is a large stamp. And of course, my stamp is already loved. I've used it with a real red ink pad. So it will stain the photopolymer stamp, but it doesn't hurt it. You can even kind of see a little bit of a pink, but it doesn't matter when you're doing the embossing. It covers it up. It's all good. And then we're going to heat set. If you're new to heat embossing, you want to wave the heat tool over about an inch, inch and a half away from your cardstock so that you don't burn it. And I like to hold it up so that I can see once everything is heated, it will become shiny and not that powdery look. Since we have this in our hand, we will go ahead and add our adhesive to the back. And you do want to make sure it's cool. Well, because the paper is a little warped from the heating, I went ahead and made sure I had enough snail on all four sides to hold that down. That's a little bit of adhesive on my finger. Of course, that can be removed with an eraser. That is just another one of my buddies around in the craft studio. Cut my designer series paper to be exactly the same size as my card front. And I found sometimes it's just easier to add my snail straight to the card base when I'm covering the whole thing, because you really want to make sure you get to those corners so that your designer series paper doesn't lift up. I felt like the lights in the paper is why I went with the gold foil. So I want to introduce you to the all-purpose adhesive sheets from Stampin' Up. They are 6 inches by 12 inches, and you want to cut, like I've cut a piece to fit my foil, just the amount that I need. And I want to, what you're gonna do is we're gonna lift this where it says peel here. We're gonna lift this off. And we're going to place our gold foil on top. I'm a little bit longer because of the peel here verbiage that was on there. And then I can add my framelits. You do want to use the Big Shot platform, the thin die adapter, a well-loved cutting plate, in this case, mine. And then we're gonna pick this up. I try to keep a clean one pretty so that it's easier for you guys to see on a video. I love these thinlits because they really do cut well and they come out of the paper. Even though I'm using some adhesive sheets, they do come out fairly easy. I don't even really need to use my Big Shot brush, except for maybe this little corner right here. Giving me a little trouble. I do need to pop out some pieces. I want to point out that the eye to my holidays is still here. These little things are hard to keep up with. Stampin' Up! Has a new Take Your Pick tool, which I am finding helps me keep up with the eye for these framelits. This is an amazing little tool. I do find that this is your all-in-one craft tool because it has an adapter that is your scoring tool. So you have your fatter end and your thinner end. And then there's your paper piercer. And then this is like a little scoop. I'm assuming, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm assuming like if I wanted to scoop up some glitter or powder, things like that. And it just twists back in. But this is the jewel. This little tip on the end has a little bit of putty, and it also comes with a refill. I'm not sure how long this is gonna take for me to go through, but it's nice to know that I have a refill. And when I'm done, I would just pop that putty off. And I kind of extended it a little longer for the video so that hopefully you can see it. But I like to just touch that little dot, the eye dot, and keep it so that I don't lose it because I've already done that quite a few times. So now what we want to do is we want to remove the backing of our adhesive sheets. Now, be careful and you'll figure it out if you're removing the backing to the foil. We're going to take our new paper piercer, and I found that it's easier if I go to an area that I have a lot of room to work with. And so we're just going to come in and just kind of flick it a little bit See how I'm just flicking it? Otherwise, it's too easy to pick up the backing of that. And you'll just remove this adhesive backing. And here is where my silicone mats come in handy once again, because I've already removed the backing from the holidays just for the sake of the video. And now I'm ready to bring in my card. And so now I can just take and place. No sticky fingers, no glue, no mess. So we have our happy holidays. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over and give it a good rub. Now, this one is a little bit trickier, I will admit, because it's tiny to get that backing off. We're gonna give it a try. Success. If you find that you're digging into it, then you're getting the backing to the foil. You want to just flick and try to remove just the backing to the adhesive. Now that card is done. As you can see, I'm a little bit off on my paper, but I'd rather be a little bit large than too small. And so I will simply take my snips. I'm telling you, I proclaim to be the queen of boo-boos, and I really say it's not a boo-boo, it's just a way of being creative and figuring out how to fix it. But remember, I put the adhesive on the actual cardstock, so I'm not getting adhesive on my snips, I'm just taking off the excess. I sure hope you like this card and the tips that I shared. If I can ever answer any of your questions, I would love to hear your comments below. And I thank you so much for watching. You just love those framelits. They are so easy to use, like I mentioned in the video. And so I hope that you will shop online at the holiday catalog and be able to get some of the things that I've been showing you. And if you ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me.